All right, we're here with Coach G of the Edgewood Bulldogs. And Coach, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing amazing. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic as well. Let's talk a little bit about last year. The Bulldogs went 4-7 last season, by district finalist, 2-4 in district play. Just talk a little bit about last year and your thoughts on last season.
Well, it was an interesting year, man. We started off a little slow. We were in the process of developing a brand new quarterback who was a freshman last year and ended up doing amazing things for us. But kind of felt our way through the season. Had to replace a whole bunch of linemen. I believe we had one kid left on the O line that played the year previously. So it was a completely rebuilding year. And oddly enough, it's going to be the same thing with our O line this year. But I thought overall, I thought our season was okay. You know, you never want to go 4-7 or 2-4 in district, but to be honest with you, I think our kids played hard all year long, and they did what we expected them to do.
And you've been the head coach now at Edgewood for 3 or 4 years now. And what has, from the first time when you walked in the door in Edgewood till now, what is the difference in the culture in Edgewood been? Have you noticed that kind of your culture has been implemented in there into Edgewood now?
Uh, you know, yes and no. Well, honestly, when I got there, Coach Backville left in amazing shape, and often joke, and everybody's heard me say this 100 times, man. My job was to get there and just not screw it up. Edgewood's always done well in the past. They've been, good for years and years. So when I got there, kind of my deal was just to kind of implement little things that I did, and I brought some things over that were a little different. And yeah, to answer your question, finally, there's some little small culture shift things that we're doing, but overall, it's hard to improve on something that was already really, really good.
So kind of like a pick up the baton and continue running with it. That's
Yes, sir. Pick it up and try to add a little bit of flair, and then from my part, and then move forward.
all right. Well, let's talk about this year. We got district realignment. It happens every 2 years. A little bit of a district shakeup for Edgewood this year. Kind of in a 9-3A Division II with Harmony, Grand Saline, Lone Oak, Quitman, Prairieland, and Paris Chisholm. What are your thoughts on this new district that you're in?
You know, it's different, obviously. I really, really, really enjoyed being East. I like that brand of football. It's a little different up there, and but that being said, I have a lot of good friends in the district we're going to. A lot of the good coaches in this district. Every team will be coached well, also, just like we're in the last district. I think it's a different brand of football, moving a little bit more this way. But we're excited about it. We get to go, face off with Lone Oak and Grand Saline and kind of continue rekindling those rivalries that maybe hadn't been played in a couple years. So, man, we're excited about it.
I know I was excited a couple years ago when UIL put Grand Saline and Edgewood back in the same district because you're 10 miles apart. It doesn't make sense that they weren't in the
Yeah.
same district for all those years. But I'm glad they did that. But it's interesting you say that. I haven't heard a coach say that before, so I want to get your thoughts on it. Kind of a different brand of football on the more eastern side of East Texas as opposed to kind of the western side of East Texas. What do you mean by that? That's an interesting take.
Well, and the deal is that when we're playing farther east, it allows us to face teams that are similar to the teams we're going to face in our opposing districts for playoffs. A little more speed maybe, and some bigger kids sometimes. Not to say any different. I mean, both sides are coached really well. Both groups of kids on both sides of districts are they work hard and they represent well, man. But I enjoyed going that way, obviously, because I had been in Pittsburgh for a while, a little bit east there, and man, I just love that area. I love traveling that way and playing, in those stadiums and playing ball against those guys out there.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, let's talk about this year now. You got 5 starters returning on offense, 5 starters on defense. You talked about kind of having to rebuild the offensive line again this year, but what are your thoughts coming into this season and what are your expectations overall?
Well, expectations are always the same. Win district, get in the playoffs, and try to go forward. Our thoughts on this year coming up, we're going to continue rebuilding the line, and we're really young on the O line, but we've got some amazing skill kids. A little more experience on the defensive line. We had kids that have played quite a bit. We got a returning kid that returned to played as a freshman last year, a whole bunch on our D line. We're excited about him, but our D line's by committee. We got 2 or 3 of them, actually about 3 or 4 that have kind of been in and out all last year. Offensive line wise, we're in the same boat. We're returning one kid that played last year. However, our lower levels have been good. I believe since we've been here 3 years, I think we've only lost one game on a JV level in 3 years. Our middle schools, on the other hand, 7th and 8th grade, since we've been here, I think we've lost a total of 3 or maybe 4 total in the last 3 years. So they're coming. The big boys are coming. They're just going to be really young this next year.
All right. Well, that's great for your program, talking about the JV and the lower level sub varsity having that success already, because that's, to your point earlier about the culture, that's that winning mindset of Edgewood, and continue that at a younger level. So that's awesome. Well, Coach G, I appreciate you taking the time and talking to us today, and best of luck on this upcoming season. And we'll talk to you a little bit down the road.
And thank you very much. I appreciate you, man. God bless. Have a good day.
Yes, sir. You too.